My name is Tim Cartmell. I was born and raised in Edmonton, raised my family here, started my business here, have always lived here. This is my home, always has been, always will be. Spent the first 30 years of my career managing and designing building projects. I've got a pretty long history of spending other people's money and delivering those projects on time and on budget. And I think heading into the next 4 years at least, we're going to have a very infrastructure-heavy agenda at Edmonton City Council. I've also spent the last 8 years on City Council, so I've seen the machinery of how council works, or at least how it ought to work. I hear the frustrations of the residents of the City of Edmonton and understand what it is they want to change. Quite frankly, the things that are frustrating them have frustrated me too for 8 years. So I think that combination of skills, of experience, of knowledge make me the best candidate to lead us in the next 4 years.
Edmonton is growing fast. As mayor, how would you manage some of the challenges that come along with such rapid population growth?
Well, I think that we've got sort of two sets of conditions or considerations there. We've got to take care of the stuff that we already have, our fixed infrastructure, and that means more dollars for maintenance and renewal. We're not taking care of the stuff that we already have, and we're beginning to see that. We see that in the condition of our roads, of our sidewalks, of our curbs, of our infrastructure. So that is going to have to be our primary emphasis going forward, is to catch up on that deferred maintenance liability. And that means that when we're looking at adding the new things, the amenities that people need in a growing city, things like libraries, skateboard parks, splash pads, arenas, other amenities that are the sand around the pebbles in living in Edmonton, are going to require partnerships with other levels of government, partnerships with the private sector, and unique and different financial models so that it's not constantly a burden on property taxes.
You're the only mayoral candidate who is running with a party. Why did you make that decision?
You know, the unique thing about the Better Edmonton Party and any municipal party is that it is prohibited by law from being connected in any way with any provincial party, any existing provincial party. And so that makes us distinct. Not only can I claim that there's no influence from other political parties or provincial parties in this election, but I'm the only one that can claim that, because we are legally prevented from and required to not be connected with any of the provincial parties. Not only that, it became clear to me as 8 years and being effectively one vote on council that it's pretty hard to speak for the people when you only have that one vote and you're running up against people that have a different ideological and philosophical outlook. So we want to bring a bit of a team effect to City Council. This is going to be not whipped votes, not caucus, not cabinet, not the things that you see, the trappings you see at the provincial and the federal level, because those things are literally illegal at the City Council level. We have a group of independent campaigns and candidates that are running on a common theme that the governance needs to be better, and that we need to move to an emphasis of safer streets, control of our taxes, and a much better understanding and coordination of our construction plan.
You were criticized earlier this year for not taking part in a vote on infill and missed a few other votes during your time as city councillor. What would you say to voters who are concerned about your attendance record?
You know, so there's some people that are playing some pretty silly political games around political records. I've consistently been there. I've owned all my decisions. I regret missing that vote and on that day. But this has been the buildup of 4 years of effectively decisions being made behind the scenes, of votes being cooked by a number of councillors before we get to the council table. And it rose to effectively a boiling point in that meeting. The actual vote that I missed was should have been had a week ago or a week prior, when we had 300 people in the council chambers all asking us to actually have that conversation on that day, the Monday previous. And my council colleagues just steadfastly refused to accommodate people's schedules, not only people on council, but people that had come to have that conversation. And this was just the culmination of all kinds of political games, frankly, that have plagued this council for the last 4 years.
When we do look at infill, in order to stop 8-unit infill buildings, you've proposed immediate regulatory updates.
Yeah.
What sorts of updates have you considered?
So a change to the zoning bylaw when it comes to the height of the building and how that's measuring it from the ground to the top of the building, and not some other algorithm that is not intuitive, restoring setbacks from the front property line and the back property line, context to the buildings next door, some regulatory provisions for curb appeal for articulation of the front facade, engagement on the district plans with citizens that and residents of established neighborhoods, and direct council communication with residents of those established neighborhoods. And those are just a few things right out of the gate to start. A maximum of 4 units per city lot, and provisions to make sure that we have on-site parking and some management for trash collection. These are the things that come up regularly. That's day one for us. 40 days, after the election, we'll have these things solved and in place.
In your campaign, you also say you want to integrate bike lanes with all other forms of transportation. So what concerns do you have with Edmonton's current bike lane system?
Well, what happens typically in a bureaucracy is that when you have discrete siloed budgets, then you spend to those budgets and not necessarily spend to the greater effect of the city. So while we need a bike plan, and while I have firmly supported a bike plan when it's integrated into things like Terwilliger Drive, that project includes tens of millions of dollars of bike plan infrastructure, 3 discrete pedestrian bridges, roughly 10 kilometers of trails, that is done on an economy of scale way when it's combined with another project. But when you have bike lanes that are simply put in for the sake of spending the money, that end in 12-foot high concrete walls on the Yellowhead, that's not an effective use of dollars. So it comes back to actually delivering the things that people need and want, and it comes back to actually asking people what it is that they want in their neighborhoods before these things are imposed on them.